Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, we've been talking about Medicaid traps, and we're talking about some of the real problems that we have. And unfortunately, one of the problems is lawyers.
Yeah, you often have an otherwise excellent lawyer just winging it in the nursing home Medicaid rule because they've heard something or read something, and they just don't specialize or do any work in that area.
Well, and we have this constant repetition throughout our entire society. It's illegal to make transfers within 5 years of going in a nursing home. And the problem is that sometimes that rule has some legitimacy in the process, but in married couples, it has virtually no legitimacy in transfers between spouses.
Right, and we very rarely, if ever, engage in gifts and things like that with married couples. We often will with single people, but again, they're two different sets of rules, and they're just done in different circumstances.
And so the goal when we're dealing with married couples is that we can typically protect 100% of the assets done appropriately for a married couple. And the key is having appropriate documentation in place. I don't care what anybody has told you, whether it's a government agency, a discharge plan, or a nursing home type, you need to go see somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right. You can always improve the outcome, or at least know what your options are. And options are key here because you may not need or decide to go a particular direction, but you need to know about it.
And you've just said the most important word here. You have options. And anytime somebody is saying to you in this environment, there's nothing you can do, you should immediately know that that statement is not true. You almost always have options, and those options are substantially better than the urban myths that you're hearing about what you can and cannot do.
Right, and if you're staring down a bill of $10,000 a month, it is in your best interest to go figure out what your options are to see if there's other ways to get that bill paid.
So, number one offender for us is lawyers who are not qualified in this area, followed very closely by accountants and CPAs.
Yeah, there's some great people out there, but if you don't do this type of law, then you really shouldn't be, spewing information about it. It's just not a good way to practice.
As I always say, somewhat tongue-in-cheek to my CPA friends, our union does not permit them to teach everything they need to know about the law business in their business law classes. And and oftentimes, we've done cases, where family businesses are protected, and literally just have the CPA just fight us every inch of the way, saying you can't possibly do this when in fact you can.
Yeah, and it just shows a massive lack of understanding, and people just need to get good advice. And where we probably send out as many cases on topics that we don't practice in as we take in. So you just need to know what your expertise is.
So lawyers being the number one offender, so I don't want my CPA friends getting upset, but CPAs are a close second, followed by financial planners who want to sell financial products that are just not appropriate in this environment because there's a timing sequence. Even if you're going to use a product, you have to do it in an appropriate sequence, or it doesn't help, and not only does it not help, it makes it worse.
Yeah, you really need to know the nuances of how these things work, and then some financial folks, just get all bound up with earning that commission and just aren't looking at the best interest of the client.
And then, of course, one of the biggest traps of all is the TV types telling people they have to have a trust. And the reality is, and the guys at the hotel telling people they have to have a trust. And the government is just paranoid about trust. Trusts are almost always a problem.
Right, and almost every situation we have, you got to fix it.
And so the reality is that people are fixated on probate and avoiding inheritance tax. First of all, trusts don't work for inheritance taxes anyway. The state long since figured out how to collect that.
Yeah.
You know, probate expenses are relatively insignificant compared to the costs of a nursing home. So you look at the middle class folks, you say, you know, which one of these risks is a bigger risk? And probate is inconsequential compared to the cost of a nursing home.
Yeah, and that's where having some good information in front of you so you know how those various things are going to hit you is very powerful for families.
And of course, the trap in a lot of these trusts is they have poison pills in them that can make it very difficult to qualify someone who would have otherwise been eligible for medical assistance had you not have a trust is now a problem.
Right, and you get these nice, pretty leather-bound books that need to be undone, and it's kind of maddening to people, but it's critical if they want to protect themselves.
And oftentimes they're spending an awful lot of money on that, and the reality is oftentimes, you know, estate planners have been sort of marginalized because of the fact that taxes are not a big deal any longer.
Yeah, and so they try to whip up these beautiful, you know, Taj Mahal plans, and really, you really need just basic stuff in most cases.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance orders to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Chris Kopco, Planetarium and STEM instructor, Washington County Board of Ed. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me here.
Chris, you know, we're a show primarily focused on the retirement community, but we find education and interest in space continues no matter what your age is.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn. We're always learning new things.
And so the Board of Ed, for a long period of time, has had a planetarium.
Yep, since 1969, I believe, is when it first opened.
And so that planetarium, while it's, you know, focused on both, you know, during the day educational opportunities for students, also has public events as well.
Yes, we do it twice a month, usually the first and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock.
All right, and so that place has undergone a lot of change. In fact, we'll have Director Greg pull up some pictures here of, I can remember, it's still an ugly old building. You don't have to respond to that off of
There's some new
Frederick
landscaping.
Street. Well, that's good, but you know, so it was there, it made no sense to move it, and so you continue to operate out of the old Board of Ed building there. And it does have a nice sign on it, so you can
Yes,
identify.
right.
So this is the old planetarium projector.
Yes, that was what we used in the center of the planetarium, that and about 50 other slide projectors before we upgraded.
All right, and so you know, part of what people need to understand is a lot of narration goes on here, a lot of explanation as to what they're looking at, and the sky is obviously huge, so you kind of narrow it down to something they can actually begin to understand.
Absolutely. We always do a night sky tour to give people an idea of what's out there so they can go out and look up and see in their own skies that night.
Now, when you sit there, this looks a little bit more comfortable than perhaps trying to sit in a lawn chair on your yard.
They are. And sometimes it's a struggle for people to stay awake when the lights go down. But we try to keep them awake and
But you have to wait for dark, though. And so now this is computer driven.
Yes, it's a brand new system, much smaller and more compact, but a lot more powerful than what we had before.
All right, and so I'm assuming there's a lot of software being developed to improve the presentations in planetariums.
Absolutely. It used to be slideshows, now it's all digital. It's kind of like being in an IMAX movie theater, but it happens all around you.
So what is this piece of equipment here?
That is one of the new projectors. We have 2 of those instead of the big one we used to have that we saw in a previous picture.
All right, and then when you have those evening events, I gather there's an opportunity for the family to come out a little bit early.
Absolutely, come out, have a little picnic out there by the capsule that we have out there, and it's a nice little area.
All right, and so speaking of capsule, I think that'll be coming up here. Is that what, an Apollo capsule?
Yes, as a command module where the astronauts would sit, and we had our guys, they redid the entire thing, and actually NASA wanted to know how we did that and how we did such a good job with that, so we've been in touch with them on helping to get theirs redone.
So 3 people, starting in 1969, rode to the moon in that thing. 3 guys in there, not a lot of space. But,
I can't imagine.
All right, so in any event, so tell us some of the programming that's coming up.
Okay, sure. We've got Moon's Worlds of Mystery coming up on the 27th at 7 o'clock. That's about some of the moons in our solar system.
That's
some
February.
Of them, yes, sorry, in February. And it will be about some of the moons that have the possibility of maybe even hosting life. So there's some really interesting moons in our solar system that are a part of that.
All right, so you mentioned that it's available to the public. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about what the rules are.
Sure. So we have a 5:30 program for kids, actually. So if grandparents want to bring their kids, that's a great time to bring the kids.
Better
7
chance
o'clock.
of staying awake. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 o'clock is for the adults, or for anyone really. And it is $3 for adults, $2 for students. Washington County Gold Card for senior citizens. Get that at any school. You can get a form to request that, take it back to the schools, and you get in for free.
I was looking at, you have a lot of nice seats there, but do you have to make reservations? Is it better, or can you do that?
It is actually first come, first serve. So we don't have a reservation process. So we open the doors half an hour before the show starts. Sometimes we sell out, sometimes we don't. If you're there 15 minutes before the show starts, usually you're in pretty good shape.
All right, so now I made fun of the building. Where is it actually located?
It is 820 Commonwealth Avenue. It's back, like you said, where the old Board of Education building is.
Off of Frederick Street in Hagerstown. Anybody welcome?
Absolutely. Everyone's welcome.
And how often do you turn those shows over?
We do twice a month, first and fourth Tuesday of the month generally.
When do you change the shows?
Oh, they actually change every time. So we have so many new shows, and they're really good shows. We don't redo them. So each year it's new shows every week.
So you can go on the Board of Ed website and find out what the presentations are going to be?
They've got something running on there right now. It's right on the main page that will take you right to our website.
Chris, I want to thank you for taking time to come to the show. Being an inveterate space buff, I love the planetarium.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Ma'am, give me a good push.
Hang on, just 1 minute.
Ma'am, I need you to push right now.
Honey, you really need to push.
It's time.
Just hold on a minute.
No, right now. One push, ma'am. One push.
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com.
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Paul Sweeney, President of Quality First Insurance. Once again, Paul, why are you on the health scene?
Well, because we deal with people once they retire and they need
health insurance for people that are working with Medicare.
And this is one of your firm's top specialties.
It's a primary specialty of my firm.
All right, so we did a little bit of the history of Medicare. Came into existence in '65. There was a consolidation of supplements in '92. And then people had open enrollment periods. And one of the things we were addressing, I want to readdress, if you continue to be covered by your employer health plan, even post 65, you do not have to enroll in Part B.
I had a gentleman in the office a month ago, 84 years old, continued to work until he was 84, just now signed up for Part B of Medicare, had no penalty.
And an open enrollment to select a plan that he
Exactly.
wanted. And that's really the key, and part of the things we caution people about. People out of this fear of hearing that you must enroll in Part B, actually when they enroll in Part B when they didn't need to, meaning they were continuing to be covered by an employer plan, they triggered their open enrollment period, which they don't get again.
No, the open enrollment period allows you to get any one of the 10 plans. There is something that happens if you lose employer coverage, but it limits you to only 4 plans. And you want to have all your options. You don't want to have a limited number of options.
And there's a lot of confusion here. First of all, there's this confusion that you can only switch Medicare supplements during the same time frame that we're talking about Plan C, Part C plans and Part D plans, which is just not relevant at all.
No, it's not true at all. As a matter of fact, we have people that switch plans throughout the entire year.
And so, if you're dissatisfied with your plan or realize maybe you should have had a better plan than some of the plans that people have out there, and if they're still reasonably healthy, they may be able to switch plans. And people don't realize you don't have to be perfectly healthy because these plans are not absorbing the primary cost of your health. They're a supplement.
Right. Medicare is your primary coverage. Supplemental insurance is wrapping around Medicare, and the underwriting for supplemental insurance is a lot more lenient, a lot more liberal than getting a regular health insurance plan.
Then we have a lot of confusion right now because of the titles of things going on. We have Part C plans, which we don't like very much, and then we also have Plan C, which is totally different than Part C.
They have nothing to do with each other. You're exactly right, Mike. The easiest way to understand it is Medicare refers to all their parts as parts. There's Part A of Medicare, Part B of Medicare, Part D of Medicare, which is the prescription drug plans, and Part C of Medicare. These Medigap plans, or the Medicare supplement plans, are referred to as plans. You have Plan A,
They're
Plan
insurance
B.
products.
Exactly.
Part is government agency, plan is an insurance product.
That's the way I try to explain to get people to understand.
And so, we talk about Part C plans, which we are not, we don't like them as a whole. That's Medicare HMOs. I know you don't call it that, but that's what the lay public calls it. And then Plan Cs, which mean you would still have Medicare, but you would have a supplement to Medicare.
Right. When somebody goes into Medicare Part C, that's a managed care plan. In other words, you're not in traditional Medicare any longer. Your care is going to be managed by a private insurance company. They're going to tell you which doctors you can see. They're going to tell you what your co-payments are going to be. And when you compare a Part C plan to traditional Medicare Part A and Part B, you could argue that the coverage might be a little bit better than Part A and Part B traditional Medicare. But when you compare a Medicare Part C plan to Medicare A and B and a supplemental plan, there's no comparison whatsoever.
That's right. Medicare supplement is almost always significantly better than Part C plans. And part of the problem is particularly in the geographic area we're here, where there's a lot of states in a very short distance, and these Part C plans don't cross state lines. So you now have a person who moves 5 miles south of the Mason-Dixon line. They got a problem with coverage.
You're exactly right, because again, you're part of a network. If you live in Pennsylvania, and you have a Pennsylvania Advantage plan, and you see a physician here in Maryland, that doctor may or may not be part of that plan. If it's an HMO, which is a very restricted plan, you're not going to be able to get care at all. If it's a PPO and the doctor's not in the plan, you may have to pay substantial copays.
And so we caution people to pay attention here, but the main thing we want to address today is we have a lot of people out there that have Medicare supplements. They might like to, take a look to see if there's a change in the plan that may make sense. Emphasis plan, not part. And they can do that at any time.
They can do it any time, and the ideal time to do it is on your anniversary. That's when you first purchase the plan.
And then, of course, you know, the Part C plans, the Part D plans, they're all in that annual election period, October 15th to December 7th. And there's this confusion that somehow they are the same in terms of those dates, which is just not true.
No, the supplemental plans, again, want to emphasize you can change it. The supplemental plan, there's no time frame that you have to do it. You can look at it any time during the year.
Paul, as always, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation, through its scholarship programs and through its strategic grants, has been a positive influence for change.
Last year, change in Frederick County was influenced thanks to nearly 1,800 caring donors. Everyone can help. Your influence is key.
Help us proactively focus on where we need to be investing our energy in the future.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Karen Smith, Money Mentor Group. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Karen, you're involved with the Mentor Group. Tell us a little bit about the overall goal of your organization.
Money Mentor Group focuses on really two main aspects. One is your everyday spending in conjunction with your financial goals. And when they're not in alignment, we help people observe what their spending is in relation to their goals and then be able to reach that that place where they're able to match the two together. And we do that through individual, couples, and business coaching, and that is the one aspect that we do. The other aspect is where I come into play more is on helping people get their documents, their legacy documents, as it were, together, the legal, financial, and insurance papers that are critical when an unexpected life event happens.
And I think the operative word there is you're a coach, you're a mentor,
Yes.
not a product salesperson.
That is absolutely correct. We sell no products at all, because we want to focus on people and their money mindset and actually getting results so that, and we work very closely with retirement advisors and estate lawyers because we want to get people to the point where they're comfortable with and able to work with retirement advisors and the estate lawyers.
So we oftentimes, in terms of day-to-day financial management, people sometimes don't realize that you authorize this credit card, that credit card, and you're draining out a bunch of resources. You're really not paying attention to what
Absolutely.
they're being used for.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we help you take a look at that, and really it's a reality check on what you're spending versus what you're bringing in and how that's affecting your future goals.
And then, then you can focus then in terms of, are you working toward an effective retirement
Absolutely.
or are you working to a hand-to-hand
Absolutely.
retirement?
Because you can have a retirement plan in place, but the decisions you make today are going to affect how that retirement plan actually works.
All right, and then you were talking about working with them about safeguarding and creating documents. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have a very personal story, which is the reason I created the book. My husband passed away very unexpectedly of a heart attack at the age of 49. We were not prepared. We did have our documents in place, but they really weren't appropriate for that time in our life. We had a business an accounting business that we owned together, and I was really not prepared to continue the business without him, but we had never talked about other options. And so I also have a love of organizing. I like to get things in order. And so I've created this book, appropriately named I Didn't See That Coming.
Yes,
and it tells a little bit about my story with Sam and his passing. And it also then goes into really a 4-step, fairly simple process of gathering, organizing, recording, and storing your important documents, legal, financial, and insurance documents.
Well, I noticed as I was looking through it, I have a saying that I use all the time, that safes are not safe.
Yes.
And that so we see a great deal of pushing for safe deposit boxes, which we also approve of, because in reality, I've never had a loss out of a safe deposit box, but we have safe stolen all the time.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And what this book does is it has worksheets in there that are broken down into those 4 different categories of legal insurance documents and legal insurance, financial, and then other assets. And it helps take some of the emotions out of getting this information together because it's black and white. You can write down the information. And then it also, to me, one of the biggest things is that it allows conversations to happen, because you have to look at the what if scenarios. Are the beneficiaries who we want them to be? Are our assets going to go where they want them to go? And if a sudden loss happens, where are the bank accounts? Did mom and dad, where were the bank accounts at? Is there a retirement plan from a prior job that nobody knows about? So getting all of this information in one place in a book, that then your loved ones, when something unexpected happens, whether it's you that are left trying to figure something out, or your kids or your spouse, it's all in one place with a guide to say, where do I need to go to find this information?
So how could a person get more information from your organization?
Well, we would love them to come to our website, which is www.moneymentorgroup.com, and that will tell about our organization. It also, if you go to the products page, the book is there to purchase. It's $30, which I wanted to make it affordable for people to be able to buy it and use it. So the book is there, information about Jane and myself as far as our backgrounds and what we do and how we help people, and other information that we have that is really exciting, that we like to work with people.
Karen, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on our program.
Great, thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate that.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.